Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and today's video is going to be a loop tutorial, which is what a lot of people have been asking for, and in particular it's a loop tutorial of Ed Sheeran's You Need Me, I Don't Need You, which is by far the most requested thing on my channel, so I think a lot of people are going to be quite excited about this one. I'm not going to be doing a cover of the song because I've tried it out a couple of times and my rapping is just terrible, so you're going to have to just make do with the loop tutorials on the guitar. If you can rap, then you can cover the song. If you can't rap like me, then you won't be able to cover the song. But yeah, we're going to get straight in. There's two main loops to this song. And a couple of things before we get started. First things first is the tuning of the guitar. The guitar, when Ed plays it, is tuned down to drop D. So the bottom E string, let me just take this capo off. The bottom E string is tuned down to the note of D, which should sound like that. You'll be used to tuning your guitar like so: E, A, D, G, B, E. So for this song we're going to be tuning exactly the same, but the first note, the bottom E, is going to be dropped to a D. So we're going with D, A, D, G, B, E. So for those of you who don't know, I don't know how sort of beginner the people are that watch my channel and my tutorials and things, but what drop D essentially does is it enables you to play power chord shapes with one finger. So a power chord of G normally would be played with your first finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom E string, and the 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the A string, and the 4th finger, the pinky, on the 5th fret of the D string. But what drop D essentially allows you to do is move this first finger up to the 5th fret, which matches the other finger, so you can play it just with one finger like that. It gives you a lot more flexibility because you can play whole chords with just one finger. So what we're then going to do is put the capo on the 2nd fret, which essentially tunes it back up to E. So if you play the bottom 3 strings, the fattest 3 strings open, you get the power chord of E. So that, like I said, is going to give us more flexibility as we get into the song. So as I said, there's two main loops to this song when Ed plays it. The other point that I was going to get to before actually getting into the song is that when Ed plays this song live, he literally just busks it every time. I don't think I've seen two versions of the same. So obviously the other rap bits that he adds in, you can add those in yourself because I'm not going to be actually doing the raps. So but the version that I'm doing is just a version that I've just watched online. As I said, I don't actually cover the song, but I've seen a lot of different covers of this song. So I'll add the little bits in that I can think of that Ed does. But pretty much it is a great way of sort of learning improvisation, I think. This song in particular, and loops in particular, really. So I'll get straight in with the first loop of the song, which is pretty straightforward. It's all pretty straightforward, to be honest. There's no channel switching because when Ed first started playing this song, he had a Boss RC20, which they don't actually make anymore, but that was just like my RC30, but just a single track version, so you couldn't switch over to the track and then drop half of it out and stuff. It was either everything looping was looping or everything looping was stopped. So the first loop that Ed does is done with your first finger on the 5th fret of the guitar. That's not in relation to the capo, actually. That's the 3rd fret in relation to the capo, and then the 5th fret in relation to the capo with your 3rd finger on the top E string. So something like that you should be able to see in that camera down there. And he's literally muting the strings a little bit with his palm and picking with his thumb and first finger, like. And as he clicks that loop to start the loop, he sort of slides up, so you got the, if you see what I mean, which that sort of dictates the tempo of the song. So it needs to be pretty on time, so you should have something like, which is pretty much on time. I'm going to stop that while I go through the other loops. It's pretty much on time. It's fairly difficult to get at first, but then I think when you get into it, if you're counting in your head and using your foot to count the 1, then you're pretty much going to get get it on time, I think. Just practice makes perfect, as I always say. And then the second loop that he does is up on the 12th fret of the guitar, which in relation to the capo is going to be the 10th fret. And it's, first finger on the 12th fret. It's where the two dots are, even with the capo on, is where the two dots are. And you're on the D string. You're actually using the D and G strings, so you want to sort of cover those with your finger, like cover both of those, because we're going to be doing like a hammer-on thing. So from the 12th fret to the 14th fret with your first and second fingers, and then we're jumping down to the G string on the 12th fret again where the two dots are. So I don't know if you can see that down there. And then the next bit is hammer off, or pull off as it's actually called, a hammer off. There's actually no such thing. So pull off from the 14th fret on the G string down to the 12th fret on the G string again. So that's why I told you to cover both of those strings with that first finger, so you don't really need to move them. So the whole thing should sound, it's sort of a little bit sort of improvised, not really improvised, but you want to sort of get that feel to it so you can bounce back onto the D string. So see that hammering back on there? You want to just sort of mess about with it and just get that feel going. There's no sort of set way of playing it as such, but and as I say, I'm going from 12th fret to the 14th fret to the 12th fret. So 12th fret to 14th on the D string, and then 12th fret on the G string. That's the first little phrase. And then the second little phrase is, so pull off from the 14th fret to the 12th fret on the G string, and then hammer on to the 14th fret on the D string. So, and then the third step is just the second step repeated. So you've got first step, second step, second step. So something like that anyway. When you add that to the loop, you'll see what I mean, but it does sound really effective. So those first two loops should sound something like, let me just make sure that I'm in the camera there, should sound something like. So you can see already that's sounding pretty cool. And I remember the first time that I heard Ed do this, not live, but on, I think it was SBTV when he did it back in the day. And as soon as that came in, I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. Like two guitars going, obviously, but then when the chords come in, it just adds a whole new sort of depth to it. So the next bit that Ed does is actually a beatboxing thing. Again, I'm not really very good at beatboxing. In a live situation, I can get it to sound okay, just because it's not that difficult if you've got a decent set of speakers, but it's just like B sounds, B for the bass drums, and then Ka sounds for the snare drum sound, which are done into your loop microphone, which you should have plugged into your RC30. I didn't say that, by the way. I'm using an RC30, or I might have said that, but I forgot. I'm using a Boss RC30, but I'm only using one channel of it. So the first loops, as I said, should sound like this. So as I said, it's fairly straightforward. I know the beatbox thing isn't sounding too amazing, but in a live situation, it really, really does sound Cool, just, you know, if you've got decent speakers, as I said. So then after you've got that looped, that is literally the loops of the first section of the song. Virtually half the song, if not more, is literally just... As I said, it's all done with one channel. So, and then when he clicks that the loop off, he goes on to this chord here. I think what he actually does is plays that chord, but he bends the string down, if you see what I mean. So I'll teach you both ways. It's literally one finger on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fret in relation to the capo. It's actually the 7th fret of the guitar. So literally that, and then down 2 frets, and then open. So it's, and that's all done with this going. And then we get ready to click it off. And click, click. So you sort of see how that goes. So the chords there are just from open to 3rd fret to 5th fret, then to 6th, 7th, 8th fret to 10th fret. They're all in relation to the capo, and then we're back down to the 2nd fret and open again. So again, it's about finding that groove and that sort of bluesiness to that bit. And I suppose an easier way of remembering those is the gaps in between. So you're going from open to obviously the 3rd fret, so there, and then it's up 2, then up 3, up 2. And as I said, that's literally the whole thing. And what Ed likes to do sometimes is bounce between the stop and start buttons on the loop station to get like a... Hang on, I'm using my wrong foot. To get like a... And you'll hear him do that sometimes whilst playing the guitar, and he'll sort of drop it out as well, so he'll have like a... Something on the lines of that. So you can just mess around with it really. It's literally done by bouncing between the start and stop buttons. So start, stop, start, stop, to get that to happen. Like start, stop, start, stop. So it's all about just getting that timing right really. And then Ed gets to part of the song, depending on the version that you know, and he'll just stop the loop while he plays along to maybe something like... On the lines of that, and there's loads of variations. That particular one is done by just putting my first finger on the G string 2nd fret in relation to the capo, which gives you that extra string. So that note is there, so you've got open. And then the next chord is just adding your 2nd finger to the 3rd fret, which obviously is that 2nd chord is on the 3rd fret, so you've got... that note stays for the first 2 chords, so you've got... And then the rest of it is just literally sliding that shape up 2 frets, up 3 frets, up 2 frets, so... Just a cool thing that you can do in drop D. It sounds quite effective. So yeah, Ed will, as he's doing that, will clear his loop station. Obviously, as I said, he's only got one channel, so he has to clear it to add something else in. And in other versions, actually, he keeps that going, and he'll add like a... which is, as you've just heard, woo. And then he'll add the chorus bit, which goes, you need me, man, I don't need you, which goes like... So something on the lines of that. As I said, this is all quite rough, and I'm sure other people out there will get it to sound a lot better than I can. But yeah, I don't play this song live at all. As I said, I can't rap, so I can't actually do the song. I can only do the loops, which is pretty pointless to do if I'm not going to do the whole song. But then, yeah, the next section is just pretty much he goes mad on the guitar, just adding like... and he just goes absolutely mental with it till it sounds just messy, and then he'll sort of start that. And then he'll be clearing that. And then he starts like a... and then he'll loop that. So that's literally just like an E minor bar chord shape. So we're barring that will be the 5th fret in relation to the capo, and playing like an A minor shape. So 2nd finger on the 1 fret up from the bar on the B string, and then the next strings up, the 3rd and 4th fingers on the next fret up as well. So I don't know if you can see that shape on there, but it's that yeah, minor bar chord shape there. And then he goes down to the 1st fret with a major bar chord shape, which is done by barring the 1st fret and barring the 3rd fret, but missing out that A string. And then he moves that up 2 frets. So he'll loop that, which should sound like... And then he might add a little bit of beatbox to that as well, which I'm not going to do because it doesn't really warrant it, but you can. As I said, I'm not very good at it, so I'm going to leave it out. And there's another bit as well, which is done by putting your 1st finger on the B string on the 6th fret, 2nd finger on the G string on the 7th fret, which is like that. And then we go down to both of those fingers on the 5th fret. So we can add... which again is just like a nice little bit to add in, another sort of dimension to it, and that's pretty much it, I think, for a lot of the loops. Oh no, there's one vocal bit that he does as well, which goes, oh, and then he adds some different harmonies to that as well, so that should sound like... again, that's just another dimension to it. And then he plays the song till the end pretty much and just clicks that loop off as he finishes the song. So pretty much, I think that's all of the loops. There are other embellishments he does. Sometimes he actually adds the Layla riff, the Eric Clapton Layla riff, which goes... I remember learning that when I was about 13, 14, probably like Ed did actually. If you want to know how to play that, it's pretty simple. It's a lot of hammer-ons. Again, it involves repetition. So we're going from open A string to 3rd fret, then the same thing on the D string, and then open D string, then 3rd fret A string, and then open D string again. So slowly it should look like. So I'll play it so that you can see this hand a bit more as if it was a bass. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. And then we're going up to the 5th fret on the D string, down to the 3rd, down to the 2nd, then 3rd fret A string, and then open D. So that first section should sound... And then the first section of the second bit is the same. But then instead of sliding to the 5th fret, we're going up to the 7th fret. 7th, 5th, 2nd, then 3rd on the A string and open again. So the only difference is instead of the second one goes. So and there's loads of little embellishments like that he adds, and loads of extra sections or whatever. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. I really hope it has. A lot of people requested it, and hopefully you can sort of mess about with it. As I said, this is a great one for improvisation, which is really, really fun to do as well if you're sort of getting started. It's ways of just play notes. If they sound wrong and you're in your bedroom, it doesn't matter. As long as you sort of figure out which patterns work with which key and stuff, I'd say it's a vital thing to do, in fact, so that when you play in bands or whatever, that you can just add things in as and when, you know. So, as I said, I hope this tutorial has been helpful for you. If you want to, you can subscribe for more content. You get alerts when I upload new videos, and it really helps me to know how many people I'm sort of making videos for. You can hit the thumbs up button below this video if you like the video. You can hit thumbs down if you didn't like it. Please don't do that though. You know, I'm trying my best and things. You can follow me on Twitter at TweedNelson if you haven't done that already. I'm on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram and all those good things. I'm Tweed Nelson across the board. Thanks for watching and take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks again. See you later. Bye-bye.